What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Hopefully, I can go live for a little bit on Monday. Things are very much still different in my life, but I still want to continue to make content because I enjoy it. I enjoy looking at your comments, I enjoy the interactions, I enjoy creating things. And to me, I think that's one of the challenges Gorlworld has right now. There's a lot of doom and gloom about all these new rules, how things are going to change, what creators have went through, and I just kind of wanted to put everyone together here and show you where things are. Now, Chantal has really not kept the commitment and the promise to her audience that coming back to Canada was going to be this whole new era, that she was going to be doing things and improving her life. And I think there's a discussion to be had there as to why you're watching. Are you watching for the train wreck? Are you watching for her to improve her life? Or are you just watching because no matter what happens, you're entertained by the characters and by the reactors? I've always kind of felt that on the other side of that, it's more people just want to be entertained. This, is kind of like a soap opera. They want to keep up with things. They want to understand what's going on. They might not have, as Chantal posts, these 3-4 hours to watch a live stream, but they still want to kind of be active with it because, let's be fair, most people have invested hundreds of thousands of hours of their lives to watch this content over the course of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Now, with Amber, you can see obviously she's pretty much stopped making content. So I mentioned before when this happened, the challenge that Amber is going to have is the optics of looking at a video like she has and see that it's going to get 100,000+ views. Okay. Now, Amber is uniquely qualified to understand what that means to her. How much is that video worth? How much was she going to get paid for that video? And I can tell you from personal experience, there is some frustration as a creator when you're sitting there and you're looking at hundreds of thousands of views and you realize, hey, I'm not getting paid for this, or I'm not getting paid the way I used to for this. More so specifically with where we are, kind of the better time of the ad revenue period of YouTube. So the importance of understanding what you have in the moment that you have it is particularly important for Chantal as she's still trying to go through whatever she's going through and looking at what happens with Amber. Chantal is in a unique position, though, to look at both Amber and Quirky and understand, hey, this could be me, right? But it's not, and I have to make the most of this opportunity. And I think that's where a lot of people are seeing some real issues with the way Chantal is basically just coming online and, for the most part, sitting in front of the camera, still going out and getting food, still filming just days ago a video that hopefully I'm going to be able to do a live reaction to over on my website. And that brings me kind of to one of the final points here, which is what we're seeing with QLR, if you will. So right now, if you haven't looked, she set up this Patreon. And for those that aren't aware, go back, you can look at my video. I had a Patreon set up in about 2 weeks. My Patreon was about $400 a month. It got suspended without me knowing. So basically, just a brief history. Obviously, after this channel lost monetization, I went over and decided to start a Patreon. The most incredible support from this community flooded in, went right up to about $400, maybe $300, somewhere in there a month. One day I go to log into the account, and the account does not let me log in. I assume, hey, wait a second, maybe just something happened. Maybe I forgot my password. This isn't a platform I'm familiar with. I reach out to help to get support. Don't get a response. In the interim, though, I can see everyone from Patreon. All the members were messaging me and saying, hey, it looks like you're offline, or it looks like you're inactive, or where's the content? And I couldn't even log in to respond to them. Then a few days later, I get an email that basically says my account has been suspended. I get an option to appeal, which I do. And a few days later, I get basically just a canned version of this content isn't accepted here. I have a second chance to appeal. I do that with much greater detail. I get the same exact response, basically copy and pasted. And in the interim, I have no access to the funds. I have no access to refund people. And I'm essentially just floating in a sea of disrespect, not only for myself, but also for the community that I was building. That said, I learned very quickly that, hey, I'm going to make 10, 20, maybe 30% at best independently from what I was making on YouTube, because the difference that you see with Foodie and with Amber is that they are paying you per view. So there's external advertisers with YouTube that are willing to pay on the platform to be placed in a mid-roll or behind in front of your videos, and therefore you get payment from those pretty much inadvertently. It's not like you're actively going out and seeking those sponsors. That's something YouTube is doing from their side. When you go out on your own, when you create a Patreon, you don't have that any longer. All your funding is distinctly placed. All of your income directly comes from the people who are willing to support you. That's why when you look at Quirky, you've got 100+ members, but you're making less than $100 a month. And there, from a creator standpoint, is the real challenge, because now you have to put in the same amount of work as you were on YouTube. But instead of making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, you are making $100 a month. And that is a mental toll. That is a physical toll for some of these creators to say, hey, listen, I have to do the same thing that I was doing before, where I was making maybe $90, $80 a day, in some cases more, and now I'm going to make single digits a day. Is it still worth it for me to do this? Is it still worth my time? I know some people will say, well, they can't do anything else and they're just going to sit around and eat anyway. That's really not the point. The point is you're still doing this for very, very little return. And as creators who theoretically make a living on this platform, it becomes very much an extreme struggle to still have the desire to make the content. Because not only do you know what it would be worth, you see what it actively is worth. That's why I think when we position back to Amber, every day that goes past is a day that she realizes, hey, I'm one step closer to getting monetized again. For Chantal, every day that goes past, she looks at it as, hey, this is another day I'm in the clear. For Quirky, right now, every day is becoming, hey, I really have to kind of do my best and promote myself from within, because no one else is going to do this for me, and I'm certainly in a position where I'm way behind the 8 ball. That is why, to finish this video, it is so important for me as a creator to understand, hey, I have to go out and I have to do this while things are at 100%. While things are active, while people are watching, I need to go out and create a website, an outlet for myself to generate income, because I don't want to be specifically tied to all of these things. This should be a learning experience. Honestly, to be fair, what happened to me, right, should have been a learning experience for every reactor and creator that, hey, this isn't guaranteed. You may take for granted that it is, but it's not. And instead, there was literally creators that sat there and mocked the fact that I was going out to do this. But now we see what happens when others try to do it. And I'm not envious of this. I certainly would hope that when Quirky looks at her situation, that she probably felt there was a lot more people willing to support her. But ultimately, that's not always going to be the case. Some people don't want to make that commitment, even if it's $2, $3, $4 to a creator. I'm extremely fortunate that you guys have really not put me in that position. Anytime I've went out and started something, you guys have been incredibly supportive. As a matter of fact, I've joked. One of the things that was going to go away with this channel was the memberships. And yet here we are closing in on 500 memberships. Not out of spite, but out of just wanting to support a creator to support a creator. That's truly invaluable when it comes down to the landscape of Gorlworld. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will be back as soon as I can with more commentary.